Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire. Funny thing, I was not prepared to start speaking. Respawn Aim Fire, kick-ass reverent game podcast from Alpha Idiots. I've taken about 17 allergy pills today. Ooh. So I didn't hear. I hope I didn't hear anything. I'm one of your hosts, Adam. He took a lot of pills today. Gumbert, that's my last name. And today we have with us here Chad. How many hits of dopamine have you had this evening, Michael Ennis?
I've had my regular 30 milligrams of Adderall, spaced apart about 2.5, 3 hours each. But I'm also drinking right now, here it is, something new that you've not seen me ever drink on the podcast before. This is a Sprite Zero Sugar. You might recognize Sprite Zero Sugar as the drink that was endorsed in a spec commercial. Never actually went into air, but there is a commercial that's a little over 2 minutes that Shaquille O'Neal starred in that you should absolutely look up. Shaquille O'Neal Sprite commercial, who happened to also be on the cover of 2K7, NBA 2K7.
There we go.
I just want to say...
Excuse me!
Hold on.
Go ahead.
That's refreshing.
I just want to say real quick, that Sprite can, that looks like when you're like watching like a sitcom and like they have like a bunch of soda cans, but they didn't get the license to any particular brand. And so it's just like soda or like...
It's like Heisler beer.
Exactly.
You see
it's
in
like
everything.
The generic, the generic soda doesn't actually exist.
And we also have with us, he can't get out of his own way and has to interrupt before he's spoken to, Alex Kazina. But real quick, I'm going to interrupt you. See how you like it. If you guys get a chance, go on Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever, and just look for like Shaq versus, his name is Chuck. What's his name? Charles Barkley. Because they've been doing like the pre-game, mid-game, like the talk show for the NBA thing for a while now, and those men just beat each other up all the time. They talk mad shit. They obviously it's like having a sibling, right? But imagine if your older brother who picked it with you, like obviously he loves you, but he's also 7'6". That's basically what happens between Charles Barkley and Shaq every other day on their TNT show for NBA. It's very funny. You should look it up. Go ahead, Alex.
I just wanted to say I have not had any allergy pills at all today, but I will say I do understand and feel your pain because back in the day, the whole Kozu family used to go down to our cottage, which is in the eastern townships of Quebec, right near the border of Vermont, pretty close to Burlington, Vermont. And man, is
there a coat factory there?
During my childhood, I've never been there. That Burlington, Vermont has a lot of cool stuff. It's a very picturesque city in a lot of ways. It has a cool chocolate museum, a pretty cool oceanic museum. I've never been to their coat factory, however. We'll have to sort that out one day. Anyways, my cottage back in the day would cause my allergies to rear up all the time. It was like pretty tough. And even after I started taking medication to alleviate those allergies, it was difficult for a very long time, but eventually my family made some renovations and changes to the cottage, and now I'm pretty okay.
Dope. Those pills. Don't know what's going on. Twitch.tv/Affable Idiots, Sunday evenings at 8:30 Eastern time. You keep podcasts Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern. Upcoming on today's show, again, it's drama for the big three. What is Webster's definition of drama? Anything that happens, basically, is what that means. But there's news from all big three companies. We'll start off, though, with the biggest one. Xbox shuts down Tango and Arcane Austin. Oh, his hand's up already. Go ahead.
I just want to say this up front. And hey, what we're about to read, not funny at all. It's actually very tragic, and all evidence suggests that things are only going to continue to get worse over the coming weeks and months. But man, it is unfortunate that we did the podcast that we did last week on Sunday. We were like, high five, guys. Great job. We really killed it.
Right.
Next day, it's like, oh yeah, that one big story we talked about, no longer valid. And now there's an even bigger story that will continue to be valid for like the next several months and years.
As I mentioned before we recorded, because that's alluding to, we talked about Helldivers last week. Maybe that news isn't as reversed as you think it is. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, Xbox shuts down Tango and Arcane Austin. There's multiple stories at IGN. Microsoft has closed a number of Bethesda studios, including Redfall maker Arcane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush, and the Evil Within developer Tango Gameworks. Alpha Dog Games, maker of mobile game Mighty Doom, will also close. Roundhouse Studios will be absorbed by the Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax Online Studios. Redfall, the disastrous vampire co-op game, will now not receive promised updates, including an offline mode and new character DLC, as Microsoft has ended all development on the game. Microsoft said Redfall will remain online to play and will provide a, quote, make good offer for those who bought the Hero DLC. Matt Booty, what is his exact title? I didn't write it down.
I'll look it
here. He's not head of Xbox. He's somewhere. But yeah, Matt Booty told staff that the decision was based on a reprioritized. Chad, what's this word?
Reprioritized?
There you go. Of titles and resources. Titles equals. And that some employees will be realigned to other teams and others laid off.
Matt Booty is head of Xbox Game Studios.
Game Studios. There we go. IGN understands that Matt Booty told staff the closure of Arcane Austin was not about the failure of last year's Redfall, rather about the future prospects of the studio. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier has reported that ZeniMax was under pressure to make significant cuts and chose Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin because they were in the process of pitching projects that would have required increased investment rather than studios already working on greenlit games. So, as we said before, obviously not funny. I don't know why Cozy would laugh about any of this. People losing their jobs. I don't see what's funny about that at all. But Chad, you were right on one of your predictions. You said that at least 2 studios would get closed down or merged.
Oof.
And it happened.
This is not one that I wanted to be right on.
No, especially if, you just say Tango is the worst. It sucks, obviously. It sucks, period. The mobile one and the other one getting absorbed is like, okay, at least those people still have jobs or whatever. But Tango put out a game last year people really liked. And the idea of you guys were going to have to make cuts and who just put out a game because you're not working actively? You're the ones to go, which is oof, rough. You hate to see it.
This is such
I gotta close the door.
Yeah, this is such a shit situation. I think it's made worse by their repeated attempts at PR cleanup afterwards that have been completely unsuccessful because they've basically said nothing and they've even contradicted themselves at many points. But I think what's really unfortunate is that there seems to be no metric of success that could have saved these teams. Even if they brought in tons and tons of money, their most recent excuse is, oh, their game had already shipped and therefore they were about to make a new one and that costs a lot more money than somebody who already has something that's well into production. And that's not a reason to lay off tons and tons of really talented people who made something that's gotten your company a lot of acclaim. So it's just shit all around, and their PR is not helping things.
Yeah, to the point about their PR not being on point, was there not, I don't know if this was publicly said or something that was leaked from a private meeting, but basically someone on their team was saying, oh man, we need more smaller breakout hits as opposed to big, giant, multi-year long productions. And it's well, you had that exact kind of title in Hi-Fi Rush. So why are you punishing the one studio that actually managed to figure out how to crack that code?
Right.
Everyone? Oh, my bad. It does seem, again, listen to a lot of people talking about it, that it's the people at Xbox don't necessarily, again, they're studio heads, or they're, they are executive people, so they're going to say what they got to say about their job. But is it oh yeah, Matt Booty's no, Hi-Fi Rush is great. That's exactly what I wanted it to be. And then the head of Microsoft is yo, recoup that $69 billion for Activision. So they're basically, hey, ZeniMax, you guys gotta pare down a little bit. And again, it doesn't matter when you're coming from the head of Microsoft about individual successes. It's I'm the big dude at the top. You guys are 17 layers down below me. Figure this out because I'm saying this needs to be figured out. So it doesn't really matter specifically about Matt Booty liking small games. It's what is the big guy like?
Right.
Which is that sucks, but that's corporate America, Garbage. But.
Adam, I'm particularly interested in your viewpoint on this because something that about a day after the news, I kind of came to the conclusion that Game Pass is hurting Microsoft and its game developers more than it is helping them, and that might have been the reason why Hi-Fi Rush and Arcane Austin, Redfall Maker, that might have been why these folks got the axe. And if Hi-Fi Rush wasn't on Game Pass and it was something that was critically acclaimed, that won a BAFTA, that a lot of people are really loving, and you paid $20 to get it, versus the, I don't know, probably fraction of a dollar that they get when you play it on Game Pass. Again, those models and the way that they make money through Game Pass is not clear. Perhaps we'd be, reading a different story, and it wouldn't be Tango Gameworks that's being shut down, and maybe it wouldn't be anyone being shut down necessarily. But the conclusion I came to is that if you really like a developer and you really like their games, even if you have Game Pass, you should buy the game. Otherwise, there's no guarantee that they're going to see that money. And apparently money is very, 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 very important to the success and the longevity of that particular one. But I know that Game Pass, of course, makes things accessible. It is the best value, for better or for worse, I guess now we're discovering. But I'm just curious, since you play a lot of things on Game Pass, like, what is your thought process behind all of this?
I don't know. I mean, I would say fair. If you want to support someone, give them your money directly. But I think also for a $30 video game, again, how do the numbers work out? Because it's like, okay, I mean, I'm subscribed to it, have never unsubscribed. So they've gotten more than $30 out of me for the year for playing that game on the service. So they made more money off of me than if I had just bought that video game, right?
But how many other things have you played in addition?
Well, I mean, I've played a good amount on there. But I'm just saying Microsoft as a corporation made more money off of me compared to me buying one video game for the year because I subscribed to Game Pass. But again, like, I don't know how that split up between whatever. So, yeah, you're right. Like, what's more? I mean, again, I guess it's what does Microsoft see as more important?
Exactly. And if Microsoft made more money on you, and they had to then take that money that went to the ambiguous Microsoft Corporation and say, where do we put this money now? They might say, let's do Call of Duty. Let's do, the Gears of War. Let's do Halo. And they might not reinvest it back into Hi-Fi Rush and Tango Gameworks. Versus if we gave our money directly to Tango Gameworks, and of course Microsoft taking their cut and saying, this is for Hi-Fi Rush, I want my receipt to make sure that this goes to Hi-Fi Rush and make sure everyone knows I liked this game and want to pay money for this game. Maybe they'd have more evidence to say, okay, that's a company worth keeping around.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm also, again, it's that point where I don't run a business to that size. Does that matter? Like, does McDonald's care if the Main Street McDonald's makes more money than the other one? Or does it matter that corporation of McDonald's makes a certain amount of profit every year? Like, is Main Street McDonald's going to get more resources because Main Street McDonald made 5% more than Second Street McDonald's? Does McDonald's Corp care? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm just like, that would be interesting to know if you buying the game. Because if you giving them $30 for Hi-Fi Rush, doesn't go directly to Tango Gameworks. That goes to Microsoft, who owns Tango Gameworks, because Microsoft pays all their bills anyways, right? Isn't that how that works? That's what I'm saying. I don't know that. That's what I would like to know.
Yeah, we don't really know. That whole Game Pass.
I assume, since you're owned
versus regular,
that you get paid whenever you have a paycheck, it goes in your account. It has Microsoft's signature on it. So Microsoft making money as a company matters. I don't know. I mean, you could point to, this is how many sales we had directly. But again, that's what I'm saying. I don't know business-wise.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also not a bad idea to give people money for a thing that you like. So go for it. But I don't know if that necessarily solves the problem of we need to cut down on a team and this team isn't making anything. But again, who's to say? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. So
yeah.
Because I've had Game Pass Ultimate for at least 5 years or more. So they've gotten $15 to $16 out of me for 5 years. Am I more valuable than you turning your Xbox on once a year and buying one video game? You know what I'm saying?
Depends on how many. If you've played a dozen video games and then that spreads that out over that dozen game holders.
But again, we don't know how the thing works, because we don't know if it's like you get paid per download, you get paid for having the game on the service. I don't know. But I mean, obviously, like, there's been a little bit of talk about like what's going to go on Game Pass. I'm of the mind hey, division of Microsoft, you spent $70 billion. We need to see more return than you've been giving us. And that ultimately leads to payroll is the most expensive thing that corporations have to pay out. So you have to lay some people off.
Yeah.
Again, we'll get in 3 years, Jason Schreier will talk to 10 people and figure out what actually happened. So that'll be interesting. But again, I just don't know how the corporations work. You know what I'm saying?
I'm curious
But
after
definitely
this if
support
we'll
people.
start seeing more things like Starfield did, where it's like, hey, you can play Starfield on Game Pass, or you can pay $30 and play it on Game
Early.
Pass, but 3 days or a week earlier, however long it was. But it's just a way for them to get a little bit extra money out of you in addition to your Game Pass subscription.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much else to say on the matter. I think much has been said both on this podcast and over the course of the week leading up to this. Other than that, as people know from the Product Cripple podcast that we've done, I'm going to be in town in LA for IGN Live at the beginning of June. And literally the day before it was announced that Xbox was shutting down both Tango and Arcane Austin, it was announced that Phil Spencer would be appearing on stage at IGN Live.
Alex, you need to rush the stage, Bill Clinton style, and ask him to his face the hard-hitting questions.
I don't know if I...
Do you want to get mollywopped in the U.S.?
I don't know if I have the courage juice to do that, but I will say, my interest in going to IGN Live was more networking, meeting up with people than, say, like the more E3-ish stuff of it all, or for that matter, the Xbox E3 stuff of it all. Now I feel like I might have to tune in live to see what that's going to be like, because that is going to be interesting. Phil Spencer, a man that is always like unusually frank for a person in his position, and I'm interested in seeing how he's going to handle that.
Yeah. That's for Matt.
That's for
Matt in the chat. I will say though, that is so. It makes me wonder like how much of a heads up these guys got. Because if I was Phil Spencer's always willing to talk, even though it's rough. But it's like he's like, this is my job, this is the position I have. But fuck, they're about to make my job really hard. Like they're about to do some shit. Like it's above me. It's gonna make it difficult. But like, I mean, that's why he gets paid the big bucks. Like, had to deal with the shit. You know, that'll be wild. But yeah, ask him a question. Ask him what his favorite Banjo-Kazooie level is.
I'm assuming that they will. I'm assuming that they will let people from the audience like answer
Let me tell
ask
you,
a couple of questions at the
absolutely not. So here's how I know that.
Oh,
because during when I went to PAX East a long time ago, EA was in the hall, or not EA, it was BioWare, and they let people come up to talk about. It was Mass Effect Andromeda before it came out or whatever, and they showed like a cool loyalty mission and everything. It was awesome. And they were very nice and very cool, and the answer question was awesome. And then some guy came up, and he was like dressed as like Daddy Corporate EA, and it's just like a dude like in a bad cosplay, like it was about microtransactions or season, whatever people were mad at EA for at that point. And he came up and like tried to do a bit and like ask a question about that, and they just fucking stared at him, and then he was ushered off away from the mic immediately. So it's like. And you saw when we did the Cyberpunk panel, nobody asked no questions, you know? So I don't think you're going to be asking
now that I
questions.
actually think it through. The thing is like, I'm looking forward to meeting up with like Max Scoville and like the Podcast Beyond crew, and that will definitely have something like that. But yeah, you're right. They might like, I guess, cull some questions from the Twitch chat, but it'll probably be very curated.
We have some predetermined questions.
Right.
Phil.
Yep.
You're good to go. That'll be interesting though.
Yeah.
Go ahead
if
and move
they
on.
do, though,
go ahead.
in the unlikely 1% chance that they do, I will definitely come up there and ask him what his favorite Crash Bandicoot game is.
I said
Don't you worry.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie, whatever.
Get
Same
it straight.
difference.
She banzos my kazooie till I nut and bolt. Chad, what have you been playing as of late? We're going to move on to playtime.
I bet you can't guess. Yeah, we've been playing Destiny 2. Round 2 of the Pantheon was this week. That's the boss rush mode. They add a new boss in to the addition of the... so they had 4 in week 1. Just 4 bosses from the raids. They added a 5th in one. Today, this was... this week, this was Oryx. The Fallen... or the Taken King. It's getting hard. It's getting tough, Adam. There are encounters that like we were able to kind of, I don't know, scoot by like by the skin of our teeth and like, oh, we just barely did that one in the first week. But every week it's getting, you're getting 5 power levels less and less, or lower and lower below the suggested power level of the entire experience. And it's getting tough to do the amount of damage that you need to do. And we had to come to Jesus this moment. It happened over 2 days. We had to come to Jesus moment where we had to say, hey, it's time for everyone to go get the catalysts for these weapons to make sure you're doing the right damage and run the exact right thing. Make sure you have all of your damage mods on. Make sure that you aren't running double auto rifles, Joel, and that you've got something in there that takes special ammo to deal with these heavier
hand cannons.
enemies.
You know, Joel loves his hand cannons.
He does love his hand cannons, although hand cannons are meta this season, so everyone's running hand cannons. But you got to have something. You can't have two just primary weapons, especially two auto rifles. What are you going to do when you're all right? I'm going to shoot with one auto rifle and then. Oh, big enemy's coming at me. Let me move to a different auto rifle with a different damage type, and
Just
that's
calling
it.
out Joel.
Sorry, yeah. But I mean, well, Joel knew what he did, but everyone else too. Yeah, it's like it's no longer a hey, I play this game for fun and let me jump in and try this hard thing kind of thing, and it is now, as I'm assuming this next week coming up, it is going to start being a you're only able to complete this if you're like elite of the elite, especially in that final one. And so I don't know if it is a thing for everybody, and I don't know if. Our typical raid crew is going to be able to complete these things, and I might have to go outside of that crew to get the thing that I need to get, and then I'll come back and I'll try my hardest with them, but I don't know if we're going to be able to accomplish it as our regular thing.
Just telling them he's about to cheat on them.
It is. I'm just saying, if y'all maybe had a job and maybe you picked up your room a little bit more, I wouldn't have to cheat on you, so it's kind of your fault.
It is your fault.
No, I'm kidding. I love them. They're fun to play with, but yeah, we gotta tighten things up.
I mean, you're about to get the new expansion. That's probably why it's getting super hard because you're about to get the new stuff. They're like, make it hard.
This is also. I mean, it's just this one activity that's getting harder and harder and harder, and they're probably honestly, people have been complaining that endgame stuff is not hard enough for so long. They're probably like, hey, here it is. It's the hardest content in the game with brand new things, and it's getting tough. But I've been playing that, playing a little bit more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth this week. Not a ton more. I am past the. We won't spoil anything, but I'm in Cosmo Canyon still in Chapter 10, and I have passed the point where I have visited a new tribe, and finish up that part there, which is a new addition to this game. Like that was not something that existed in the original, so I was really excited for that. But the final thing... Well,
I mean, unfortunately, we're not doing our spoiler cast just yet, so we
can't
get into spoilers. I really love that chapter. That was one of my highlights of the game.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And then final thing here is we're back into Beat Saber, baby!
Oh.
I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast before, but... me and a handful of other folks that went to PAX have from the beginning of the year been working out, doing a little workout schedule. And the main way we've been doing that is through like fitness videos through Apple Fitness Plus. And we started FaceTiming and like doing them while FaceTiming together and doing the workout together. And now we just kind of have this shared plan that we're all doing on our own, but we still stay in touch with text. And we've started now to work in Beat Saber in there as like a replacement for one of the cardio options. Instead of doing a video, you can go play some Beat Saber because that shit will kick your ass. So I'm back in there. I've got all the trophies except for the Play for 24 Hours trophy, which I'm sure will pop sometime in the next couple of months. No, 24 hours total.
I must say, fuck. That's a tough
Yeah,
trophy.
so I've almost got the Beat Saber Platinum trophy again. Because remember, when they released it on PS5, all of your progress and trophies didn't carry over. So, I've been playing that. It's been fun. Sweaty balls.
That's the point. Alex, you were a little platinum, a little floozy this week. Would you?
Oh yeah,
platinum floozy.
Last episode that I was on, I talked about how I beat Dave the Diver and was just getting started in Tales of Kenzera Zhao, and I have now officially platinumed Dave the Diver and Tales of Kenzera Zhao. I actually got that final platinum in for Dave the Diver just before I jumped on my podcast call here. I will say, when we last spoke about Dave the Diver, Adam, you talked about wanting to hold off on like immediately rushing towards the ending and downloading some of the dredge content to play alongside the game as you headed towards that destination. Would definitely recommend checking out that dredge content because it is way more elaborate than I ever would have thought. It straight up introduces a new mini game where do you mind if I just spoil it? Or
I mean, do you want to spoil it for everybody in the world?
I won't spoil it other than to say that
I mean, I played Dredge.
Basically, it introduces a new way of playing the game where the moment that it was introduced, I was like, wait, how is this like almost not even a feature that was included in the main game? Not even being mad at it, like, oh man, the main game is made that much worse of an experience, but like it's insane that they held this off for this like free piece of DLC. And I would also say, do we know when the Godzilla DLC is coming out?
No, I looked on their Twitter. They just said May. They don't have an actual date on it. I'm going to double check it, but just May.
What I would say is, while getting the Dave the Diver Platinum was pretty enjoyable for the most part, mopping up a couple of the last trophies was a bit of a grind, and I would say that if you have the opportunity to do so, definitely incorporate that final grind with whatever the Godzilla DLC is going to be, because I think it would make it that much more enjoyable. In fact, I'm happy that I took care of Dave the Diver sooner rather than later, but yeah, I think that will probably be the best way to go. And Tales of Kanzero Zhao, I mean, yeah, I wrote in my kind of thoughts and progress to the review that the two of you did, Adam, and my thoughts on the game aren't necessarily immensely changed from where I was at that point in time. Still agree that the combat is great, the performances are great. Still agree that the map isn't very good. Overall, though, it's solid. When it comes to Game of the Year time at the end of the year, I don't necessarily know how highly this game will rank on my personal list, if at all. But I don't know. Weirdly, I'm kind of okay with it just being a game that, had a very focused intention, which was to tell this kind of story of grief through a Metroidvania shell. And I feel like it accomplished it well, and I'm totally fine with that.
I was thinking about this the other day.
It's a stacked year for Metroidvania games, so
I've thought about this the other day, just like remembering some old stuff, and it's like it is absolutely fine and okay for like games to just be good. Because I remember I was listening to a Game of the Year thing, and someone was like, "That game's fucking awful." It was like, okay, so if a game isn't a 10 out of 10 and deserves to be Game of the Year, it's a 0 out of 10. It was basically like this dude's reaction to it. I'm like, oh, that's a good game that people are like, yeah, but it's basically garbage. I'm like, okay, so if it's not top 5, it's fucking absolutely awful. So like Tales of Kanzero Zhao, like I like that game. I don't think it's going to be, it might be like the tail end of a top 10 maybe, but like it's also just like allowed to be a good game that was like personal to a creator, and that's absolutely fine. So yeah, things are allowed to just be good. I know that people think they have to be 10s or 0s, but there's actually like a whole bunch of numbers in between there that things are absolutely perfectly fine to be. So, yeah. I guess that, see, I'm just looking this up. I can't find anything about Godzilla and Dave the Diver, just the announcement. It says May, so we'll see. But as for me,
I wonder if, sorry, real quick. We do know that Godzilla movie that released last year, -1, it's coming out at some point, and we don't know exactly when. I wonder if they're trying to release the DLC to coincide with when that movie finally becomes available on streaming services or not.
I literally was looking that up because you said Godzilla. I was like, when is a Godzilla -1 coming out? It's already out in Japan on May 1st.
Right.
On Amazon Prime, but there is no... If it follows the previous release, then it will be like September-ish before we get it. But I doubt. I mean, there was no marketing for Godzilla -1, and there was no anything for Godzilla -1 in the U.S. until everyone went and saw it and said, "Holy shit, everyone go see this movie!" So I doubt that they're like trying to tie this game to that. Yeah. If anything, they were probably hoping to tie it to the Godzilla vs. Kong movie that just came out a couple weeks ago.
I guess so.
Probably. All right, but for me. So I did. Hold on. Let me. Good Lord, I gotta look this up. I got a access.
Hold on. Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Is it ham and my penis?
I'm looking at the MP. Ham my penis. No, MP. I got access to a demo. So when we went to PAX East, we got to hang out at Toge. Remember? Because we played the mech game there.
Yeah.
So they gave me like, hey, here's an email. You want to try out this demo? I'm like, absolutely. I'll check it out. It's called Moses and Plato: Last Train to Clawville. It is from the team, and it's in the same world as Chicken Police, which is like an indie game. It's like part visual novel, kind of an idea. It's basically like anthropomorphic animals like doing crime noir stuff. People related Chicken Police 2 just got announced this year too. But this game takes place in the same universe, but it is basically, and Chad, I love
these are like people with animal heads.
Yeah, they're just like normal bodies with like animal heads. Yeah,
It's creepy, but also I'm aroused.
Yeah, it's like a noir thing. People like it. This game, Moses and Plato, Last Train to Clawville, is legitimately just Murder on the Orient Express, but with anthropomorphic animals. And you get to play the
old
detectives.
mustache man. Okay.
Yeah, you get to play Poirot, basically. It's kind of more like Sherlock because you have a partner. It's like a fox and a cat detective, and you're on this train, and a murder happens, and you've been accused of the murder, and you are the detective. So you get to, again, it's very fun, very cute. Everyone's very funny. Writing's very good, but you just get to go through, try to solve the crime, and then you have a certain clock. Like you only have a certain amount of time. So it's like, oh man, we've got an hour until the party, which means we can basically visit 4 people. We can basically visit and talk to 4 people, and there are more than that people on this train. So I think there's like replay value where you're like, oh, if I investigated it this way, what did I find? If I did it this way, what did I find? And it's just like a really cool game where like, yeah, you could be Poirot, but you're a fox. And it's really fun, really cute. I didn't play a ton of it; I only played like 45 minutes of it. But it was very cool to get that. Be like, hey, you want to try out this demo? I'm like, I normally wouldn't, but I'm like, that's all right, pretty good. And then the main thing I played, the Ham, or the H on our list. I beat Hades 2. And let me tell you.
You beat it?
Quote unquote, beat Hades 2. You don't beat Hades, you know what I'm saying? But no, so Hades 2, a shadow dropped into early access on Monday, this past Monday. And I was like, oh, I got to be on there on that. And then I played it for, let me look at my time, 26 and a half hours.
Oh, nice.
A lot of hours.
Yeah. I literally only played that and then 45 minutes of this other game. Holy shit. God, it's so fucking good. Here's the thing, right? Is that Hades 1 was amazing and everyone remembers that. And it's so super good. And then Hades 2 came out in early access and is literally better than Hades 1 day 1 of early access. And it's like, I don't know how y'all did it. They just made a better game. Everything about the game is better. Like the characters are great. Combat's great and super good. There is again, I've put 26 and a half hours into it. And I'm not even done with the early access content. There's more content to come. There's more content in this early access game than all of Hades 1. Fucking wonderful. Holy shit, dude.
That's wild.
That game, it's so good. It's so fun. One of the best roguelikes out there. Super horny and does not care. They're all about it. It's for anyone who doesn't know, it's a roguelike where you play, Greek gods and deal with Greek gods and stuff. Aphrodite is literally one of the people who can give you a boon, and she just doesn't have any clothes on because she's Aphrodite. Why would she need them? Game's great. It's awesome. And like the only thing missing is like you get to the end of a part and it's like, oh, we'll continue this story later. And it's like, okay, that's obviously early access stuff. Or it's like, there's not art for this character. It's just like a generic whatever. But then like everything else is there. Again, I've done like 32, 33 runs. And then there's always new conversations. They never stop talking. They always got something new to say. That's wild. It's amazing. It is absolutely currently my game of the year, without a doubt.
Wow.
No questions asked. Easily. Even for an early access game. So I'm hoping... See, it'll be interesting, because apparently they said it'll definitely be in early access through the end of this year. And they're like, maybe a little bit in 25. So it might come out at the end of 24. It might just be 25. But I'm like, whenever this one point, that's going to be weird how they do Game of the Year awards, because I guess you can't really, you probably want to wait for 1.0 to actually nominate it. But I'm like, based on just what's here, like I could give you a nomination easily. So that'll be interesting to see. Like it might not get nominated at this year's Game Awards, but next year's Game Awards, it'll definitely be there. But wonderful. Everyone play it. If you like the first one at all, it's great. Wonderful. 100%.
I'm looking forward to earning a lot of points from it on my fantasy critic draft.
We'll see, because the game has to release in 1.0 for you to get points.
That's true.
So if it doesn't come out, I believe I have it in another league. I'm like, I hope it just comes out like December 10th or something and get points. I don't care. Because right now it's like a 90 on Open Critic, or with just the early access reviews. It's good. It's good, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Real good.
How long did it take the original Hades to exit early access and become like a proper game? That sounds cruel, but you know what I mean.
No, I think it was about like a year to 18 months. It was it was actually been more time than this one is supposed to be.
I already consider anything that's only on PC. Like PC is early access.
Bite at the apple.
And then when it comes to console, that's the proper release. So like, how long before it came to console?
Release. I don't even know. I'm going to look at, what do you call this? Not Googlepedia, Wikipedia.
Googlepedia.
Everyone's favorite Googlepedia. Let's see. Supergiant, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, we'll talk about it. I'll look up these numbers, but it was in early access for like about a year or so. This one will be a little bit less than that. So it was announced at 2018, came to Steam. Okay, yeah. So it came out, was announced at the Game Awards in 2018. Came out a year later, came out of early access a year after that. So yeah, basically like a year and a half.
Okay.
And then console later. Yeah. But no, it's fucking wonderful. I will continue to play it. Probably when we get off of here, I'll probably go do another run.
Nice.
And that's it for what we played. Now we're going to move on to the quest log for the couple stories this week. First up, cozy, relax. Don't injure you. Don't hurt yourself.
Uh-oh.
Hold your pee in. Official word on Switch successor is from Wesley LeBlanc at Game Informer.
Oh, shit.
Nintendo will reveal the Switch successor within the current fiscal year, which ends March 31st, 2025. However, the company says there will be no mention of the successor during a Nintendo Direct it's holding in June. The Direct will instead be focused on games coming to the Switch in the second half of 2024, not Metroid Prime 4.
It's going to be
that wasn't in there. I just assumed.
I was going to say, this basically confirms that either Metroid Prime 4 is going to get announced next month and released by the end of the year, or Metroid Prime 4 we will not hear about until 2025.
Until next year, so we'll know real soon. This announcement follows industry reports from earlier this year stating the Switch successor was targeting a March 2025 release date, but given the timeline, Nintendo could also announce the successor that month, meaning we won't get it into our hands till later that year. So they did say it's not coming out in the next fiscal year. They say we will tell you more about it in the fiscal year. So it could be, hey, here's it about it. We're about to put it out. Or, hey, here it is. It's coming out this fall. So it could be as early as March. It could be as late as, next fall. We don't know. But they're like, hey, don't bother us this year or this in June. We'll tell you about some games, but we're not talking about Switch 2.
Technically, they could announce a Switch 2 in March and then say, we are planning to release this in 2035. And we have 11 more years of Nintendo Switch. They're just announcing it by March 2025.
Yeah. Cozy, what about you? Are you, what's going on in your head?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting. What's funny about this announcement is over the course of the past week, there have been so many memes of people being like, man, Xbox and PlayStation are on fire, and Nintendo's basically just trucking along, having its best life, eating Studio Ghibli food and Studio Ghibli movies by basically being like, oh yeah, we have this announcement coming up within the next month or so, and yeah, we'll have our next console coming out within a year or so. It's going to be a good time. See you later. Yeah, I mean, March 2025 seems pretty likely at this point. I think they're going to try to push it back as much as they can to get it as ready as possible. If Metroid is not present at E3, or rather not E3 2024 for Nintendo's press conference, I am curious what they're going to be showing off at that. A lot of people have said, oh, we'll probably see the Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker ports. I mean, seems likely, but I mean, we've said that a million times in the past, so I feel like we can't absolutely cross our fingers. We should. Maybe we don't need to devote like an entire episode to predicting that, but we definitely should sit down at some point and be like, so what do they have to show?
Not Pokemon. Pokemon already said it won't be this year.
Yeah, which makes it all the more interesting. The more interesting.
So I didn't put this in the story just because it's repeating the same information in the story, but this came as through an announcement from Nintendo. I love how they do these announcements. This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. I just love how they always start it. This is me. I adore them for that. Anyways, moving on to our last story. We kind of referenced it earlier, but there's a bit of a twist. Sony reversed Helldivers drama. Kinda? Question mark.
What?
Alex Stedman and IGN. Sony reversed course on the widely derided decision to require Helldivers 2 players to link their Steam and PlayStation Network account on May 5th. But the hit online shooter is still restricted in countries where PSN is not available. So they did say, again, we talked about all last week about, how people don't like this, yada, yada. We went through that whole thing. It's like, okay, you don't have to have PSN account. But all those 177 countries that we restricted it and those people don't have access, they will also never get access again because you can't, even though it's not required, if you can't make a PSN, you also still can't play it. Helldivers 2 added the Baltics to its restricted countries, as recorded on its SteamDB page. But more significantly, Ghost of Tsushima has also been restricted in countries where PSN is not available, leading to the same purchase restrictions as Helldivers 2. The development comes just days after Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch clarified the situation on PSN account linking on the Director's Cut upcoming PC release, which comes out May 16th. The studio said on May 5th that a PSN account would be required for Legends Online multiplayer mode to use on the and to use the PlayStation overlay, but not for the single player portion. That is, of course, unless you live in one of the 177 countries, you can't play any of it. So yeah, they reversed it, but then this was like also a thing that still happened. So interesting.
I don't know how Steam works. Is a purchase restriction different than if you already own the game?
No. So I don't know how that works now, but last week when it happened, even the people who had bought it could not launch it anymore.
Right.
So even if you had owned it, you could not. The purchase restriction means you can't buy it, period.
Right.
But based on what happened last week, you can't buy it, and if you already own it, you can't play it anymore because it's not basically it's not available in your area. Kind of an idea.
Right.
So yeah, those people, I guess they're not. I guess unless they pre-ordered it, they're fine for Ghost of Tsushima. But
I did see Ghost of Tsushima people who live in places without PS Plus, like stores have been refunding their purchases.
Yeah, which seems weird because we know it works without it. So why are we sticking to it all of a sudden? Where it's like we reversed it, but again, if you live in almost 200 countries, fuck you. I don't understand it, but. I mean, technically, for us here in America and I guess Canada, you don't have to sign in with your PSN account, so good for you.
And then they're going to complain we're not making enough money. We have to close down all these studios. And then it's that meme of the person putting the stick in their bicycle and then falling over. It's like you did it yourself.
How
did
they do this to us?
But Chad, aren't you looking forward to Sony's quarterly earnings report where they talk about how they got a record number of new subscribers to PlayStation Plus? Aren't you looking forward to that?
Nope. Because right after that, they're going to say, we're laying off everyone at Naughty Dog.
Man.
Business gonna business. Again, out of all three of them, the only one that's positive is Nintendo, and that's because they said, don't ask us about it, we'll tell you about it later.
Right.
Funny.
They're the one studio they're the most tight-lipped. They're like, oh, we're just going to sit in our corner. Don't bother us, and we won't bother you.
Honestly, that is the way to do it. And like consumers get mad about it, and people are like, they like that we know who Phil Spencer is. But honestly, just don't talk to anybody ever, and no one can complain because you don't have to say shit to them. Wild, crazy shit. But moving on to that, Chad, what time is it?
Segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment Adam. What song was that? I'm not even gonna tell you right now.
I know the melody. I'm like, what is that? It's like an early 2000s song. The
person who recorded that song was one of the original judges on American Idol.
Oh, so not early 2000s. Must have been a Paula Abdul song then, right?
It was a Paula Abdul song.
Yeah. Love. Nope, that's not it. What is it? Is it the one with the cat?
Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love me forever?
Yeah. J. Cole remixed that. That's right. That's not the one with the cat, is it?
I don't know.
That's a whole thing to go down. Anyways, segment from Adam this week. It's been a hit on the radio is what I was about to say. God, I haven't a lot of medicine. It's been a hit on the internet, not the radio. There's a little thing nowadays called How Long to Beat Play, which is you get on the How Long to Beat website, and every day they give you, just kind of like Wordle or whatever, they give you a new thing where you guess how long these games are to beat, and you get certain points, and they have little boxes, and it's very fun. I've done it every day since I found out about it.
I have not heard of this thing.
That's very cool. Don't get on How Long to Beat because we're about to play my version of it. The way that this works, this is called...
Hint. There may or may not be some How Long to Beat shenanigans on this month's upcoming episode of Locked and Loaded.
Oh, shit.
Very fun.
Different from what we're about to do, though.
Yeah. I'm calling this How Long to Beat Trivia. Basically, the idea is that you're trying to guess the times that are on How Long to Beat's website. So the idea is you're going to be guessing how long the main story is, how long main plus extra, and how long completionist is, as well as user score. So there are 4 things per game that you have to guess.
And is user score on How Long to Beat, is user score a how much I liked this game, or is it a...
It is a percentage based. It's from 0 to 100. What did people
Are they rating their how much they liked it or how quick it was to beat?
They are rating it how much they like the video game.
Okay.
So basically, like, if I'm a user, would I give this out of 10? Basically, is the idea of that.
Okay.
Of course, it can be in between. Doesn't have to be 900. But yeah, it's what users think about the game. You do. So you guys are both going to have 3 guesses. You have your own list. They go from easy to hard. They're all based on things about you specifically until the last one, which is a big fuck you that I gotta have. But they are tailored to you because this can be a difficult game.
Okay.
You do have 3 power-ups, is what they call it on the website. You have reveal, which I will give you 1 answer completely. So like one of your 4, boom, I'm going to give it to you. So you just have it. You're going to lock it in. You're going to get all your points. Number 2 is you're going to give me all your answers. And then you're going to say, I want to use my second power. Okay, so reveal is the one where I tell you 1. Probe is when you fill out your 4. And I tell you, like, are you close? Like, I give you like a general percentage, like, you're within this many of the actual score is basically what I'm going to do. But I won't tell you which way, right? And then the last one is called spread, which is you say, hey, you spread. I tell you, okay, if this bar is, let's say, 3 units long, that's for the main story. Main story plus extra is 6 units long. Completionist is 7 units long. So I'm giving you an idea of how much of them are, right? So ask me again at any time if you have to. The idea is if you get exactly on, you get 10 points. And then either way, you get less points, up to 10 away. And then after that, you just get no points. Mm-hmm. If you need help, again, it's very easy on the app. I do it every day. I'll explain it as we go along. But Alex, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
So what I'm looking for, let me type it in here. On how long to beat. This is all based on how long to beat. And the idea here is that I'm going to need the main plus extra, completionist, and then user score. So main plus extra, or main plus sides, completionist, and then user score. Your first game, and remember, you have 3 lifelines. If you need a reminder, I'll tell you. The game that you're starting with is your game of the year, 2023, Lies of P.
Ooh. I am going to say... I'll hold off on using lifelines for now. Let me just try and
you have 3 lifelines and you have 3 questions.
Oh.
I have a tiebreaker. I do have a tiebreaker, though.
All right. What are my... Can you... Real quick recap. My
you have
lifelines
reveal, which I tell one of them. I'm like, here's exactly the answer.
Mm-hmm.
You can do probe, which is you answer all of them, and I tell you if you're like how close you are, basically, without giving you the exact answer. And then spread, which is like, I'm going to give you a fake segmented amount, and this is how they are far from each other. So reveal,
and we're
probe,
answering
and
3
spread.
fields about 1 game.
You're doing 4 fields per one game.
If I choose reveal, am I allowed to request which one I want you to reveal?
No,
or
it's going to be random.
Okay, you know what? I'll do reveal anyways.
Reveal for Lies of P. All right. 1, 2, 3, random. 2. All right, so I'm going to tell you, main plus sides is 36 hours.
Okay.
So you're getting a full 10 points right there. If you please write down your score because I'm trying to do a lot right now. Main plus sides, you have 10 points. It's 36 hours on Lies of P. So I need main story, I need completionist, and then I need the user score.
36 hours?
Yeah, for main plus sides.
Okay. I am going to go, and I'm going to say that main, just the main by itself, 30 hours.
Okay.
We know that main plus sides is 36 hours. I'm going to say that completionist is 50 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck,
User
am I allowed to ask in the middle of this whether or not the user score corresponds to user score for how long they think completionist lasts, or how long?
No, it is a rating of people who played this video game. What do they think about this video game? Basically, just like
okay, like
Metacritic user score. It's just a user. What do the people think about this product?
Is it a 100-point scale?
Yes, it is 100 points.
Okay.
I'm going to put that at 84.
Okay, so for user score, we'll go backwards. You said 84. Give yourself 8 points because it's actually an 86, so you're 2 off.
Okay.
You said completionist. You said you're gonna have to remember these. Maybe write them down somewhere.
In the RAF show notes, I'm putting down what I put down for my first answer. So 30, 36, 50, and 84.
All right. So you have 2. You get 8 points. for the rating because you were 2 off.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was 80 for completionist, which is the third option. Or you said 50.
I said for just the main story, it's 30. We know
Okay,
that
so by the
main
way,
story.
okay, so you have 9 points for that because it's 29 hours. So you have
Okay.
9 points. Okay.
Okay.
You've already got main plus sides because I gave it to you. What was the third one? You said 50?
I said 50.
That's 2 points for that because it's actually 58.
Okay.
So add up all your points. How many do you have based on that first round? Pretty
9
good.
plus,
Pretty good first round, I will say.
29.
29 points. There you go. Pretty good. You were pretty spot on with a couple of those. That really helps out. All right, Chad, you get the idea of basically what we're doing here?
Yep.
Okay, keeping scores and stuff. Your first game is your game of the year, 2023, Sea of Stars.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to say
So again, main story, main plus extra, completionist, and user score.
main story
And you do have 3 lifelines.
28.
Okay.
Main plus extras, I'm going to say 36. Completionist, I'm going to say 44.
Mhm.
User score 88.
Okay. You don't need to use a lifeline.
No, not on the easy stuff. Save that shit for
Okay.
when it counts.
You're just guessing numbers, so maybe you know. Okay, so what'd you say for main story?
28.
You are spot on. Give yourself 10
Oh,
points
shit,
for that
yeah,
one.
10
It is
points.
exactly 28 hours for the main story on that video game. What was the next one? Main plus sides.
36 is what I said.
Give yourself 9 points. It is 35 hours for main plus side.
Wow, we're almost going 1 for 1.
Yeah, I know.
44 was my next guess for completionist.
completionist, that's 42. So give yourself 8 points.
All right.
Uh,
And then 88 was my user score.
And the actual user score is 85. So give yourself 7 points because you were 3 off. Yeah, 7 points for that one.
Okay.
okay.
Dang, that's a pretty good round. Not using any.
Right.
Anything at
Right.
all.
What was that? So 27, 34 points?
You do the math, not me.
Yep.
I can't do that much math. All right. Next up, Cozy. Now I went last questions were your guys' game of the year. Next up, I picked out games I think you guys might like. Like by who you are as weird human beings, you guys are probably into these video games. Your one is Pokemon Yellow. The original Pokemon Yellow. Just OG Pokemon Yellow.
Does completionist include skipping SSN and going over there and using push on the truck to reveal nothing and not a Mew?
I could not tell you that.
Okay.
Probe. What is probe?
Probe is you give me 4 answers and I tell you if you're within 10 or not, or like how close you are, basically.
Okay, we're gonna do probe on this one.
Okay, so I need your 4 answers first, and then I can tell you how close you are, or if you're close at all.
All right. I'm gonna say that the
By
time.
the way, just a heads
Yep.
up, if anything is a half, like if it was 1.5 hour, I'm going to round down. Just a heads up.
Okay. I'm going to say that the time to complete Pokemon Yellow is 35 hours.
Okay, you
I'm
said
gonna say
35
that-
for main story?
Yeah, main story. Main story plus extras, I'm going to say is 45.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to say completionist is 52.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say the score is, we're going to go with 89.
Okay. So we'll go through one again. You're using probe, so basically you're telling me, like, am I close on these or not?
Mhm.
I can't tell you exactly which way, just telling you if you are or not. What was the first
hold
one?
on. I just want to go 32, 35. And then I think it
please
was
write these
40,
down.
45, 52, 89.
Okay. So we'll repeat it. At the first one, what did you say for main story?
35.
35. You are within 10.
Okay.
You are not exactly on it, but you are within 10. Main plus sides, would you say?
45.
You are within 5 on that one.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Completionist, 52.
Not within 10 at all.
Okay. And score 89.
You are within 10.
Is it 10 in each direction or 10 total?
Yeah,
5
just
in
10,
each direction.
10 in any direction. Yeah, I can't give you up or down. Basically, you have 20 points worth of stuff you could
Okay,
possibly do.
cool.
But yeah, so that is... I would tell you if it was spot on, by the way, because technically that's what the app does. So,
Okay.
how would you like to change your scores at all?
I'm going to go ahead and I am. I'm going to bump up. I'm going to bump up. This is like the tough part because you got to figure out, like, am I lowballing it or am I highballing it?
I've got screwed a couple times by that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say that for the. I'm going to keep. For the first one, for just completing the main story,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lower that down to 30.
Okay.
I'm going to keep, because I know I'm within 5 points, I'm going to keep the main story plus extras at 45.
Okay.
I'm going to raise the completionist to 62.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep the score. You know what? I'm going to lower the score to 85.
Okay. So you've got all that down. One more time. What was your main story? So I can give you actual points now.
30, 45.
Well, just do one at a time. 30. So that one gets you 3 points, or gets you 7 points. You were within 3. It's actually 27 hours.
Okay.
So yourself 7 points for that one.
Well, I went in the right direction at least.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you went to get on that one.
Yeah.
Next one, you kept the same. You said 45, right?
Yeah.
So give yourself 6 points for that. It's actually 41.
Okay. And then completionist, 62.
0 points. It's actually 77 hours for a completionist run.
I believe that.
I mean, I was still in the right direction, but anyways,
yeah, not enough.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And then your user rating,
85.
it's actually an 81. So give yourself 6 points because you're 4 away. Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick. I mean, these Pokemon games are tough because, like, if you know what to do and if you're just familiar with Pokemon games in general, even if you've not played Pokemon Yellow, it's not necessarily the longest game to complete in the world. And then when it comes to the completionist stuff, it's weird because, like, you don't have access to all the Pokemon in any one specific Pokemon game. You have to do a lot of trading over from other games. You have weird event Pokemon like Mew that you normally can't get in the game at all. And do you count that towards your completionist thing? I don't necessarily disagree with the completionist time to beat, but yeah, it's a weird game. Weird game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't disagree. This is what the website says. So
I guess I can't.
Chad,
No,
your
I
next one.
have a question real quick.
Okay. Mhm.
Can I use 2 different lifelines in the same question?
No, 1 per.
Well, fuck. I would have used one on the first game if I knew
Well,
that.
if we go to the tiebreaker, you'll have
Okay.
one and Cozy won't. So just a heads up on that.
Okay. And which
all
one
right,
did Cozy just use? Was that probe or is that spread?
He used probe and he used reveal, so he's used 2 of his.
Okay.
He has spread left. So I did a game that he liked, Pokemon Yellow. A game that you will like, Chad, The Last of Us. By the way, it is the original PS3 version.
Okay.
There aren't many differences between like Part 1 remastered, but technically there is a little bit of a difference. So I'm giving you the original Last of Us PS3 release.
Okay. I'm going to say how long to beat main story.
And again, you can use a lifelines if you want.
Oh, shit.
You don't
Yeah, I have to use a
but-
lifeline, basically.
We don't have to. You can just show Cozy up and just not use any of them and still crush it, you know?
I'm gonna probe. I'm gonna probe.
So you give them to me and then I'll tell you how close you are.
So I'm gonna
Okay.
do 14 for main story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do 18 for main plus extras.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do, I assume completionist means platinum trophy. So I'm gonna do 40 for completionist.
Mm-hmm.
And then user score of 91.
Okay. And you're using probe, so basically you give me your answers, I'll tell you how close you are with
Yep.
them. So what was the first one again? Main story?
14.
You're within 5.
Okay.
Give me the next one, main plus
18.
sides. You're within 5.
Okay.
Where's your completionist?
40.
You are not within 10. You are outside of 10.
Okay.
And then your user score,
91.
you're within 5. Again, you basically fucking nailed it. Like within 5 for all but one of them is pretty good. Pretty good.
I have some thoughts on this one, but I feel like I might give Chad some ideas if I share
Well,
them.
then
So
don't
I'm
do
going to
that.
remain quiet. I won't. I won't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to share my thoughts.
All right, I'm going to go 13 for
Okay.
the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 16 for the second.
Mm-hmm.
28 for the completionist,
Mm-hmm.
and 90 for the user score.
Okay.
Hold on. Before you reveal the final answers, Chad, if you're locked into this, I'm going to make a prediction. I think that the completionist time was actually even higher than 40.
We'll see
We'll
when we
find
get
out.
there. Sometimes it's
Okay.
pretty wild how well the completionists are. We'll see on this one. So you said, what was your main story again?
13.
13. It's actually 15.
Oh,
So you give
butthole
yourself
sex.
8 points. Yeah, you actually went away from on that one, but still 8 points. Still good. What's your main plus sides?
16. Ugh,
It is 17.
Okay.
So give yourself 9 points for that one. Completionist.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you give me?
28.
28. It is actually 22. So
Oh,
give
shit.
yourself 4 points.
See, I thought that all the multiplayer stuff would like
That's where I was going too,
jack
yeah.
up that number. Yeah.
Nope. And then
Oh.
user rating, what'd you say it was?
90.
It is actually 92, so give yourself 8 points for that.
Okay.
You moved away. So you were so close that you were like moving away by 1 on some of them, but it saved your completionist because your completionist was completely off.
All right, so
you
that's
changed it.
29 points for that one.
There you go. Very good. Moving into our last round, potentially, of this game. These are games that Adam likes. These are going to be tough because you probably never played them and you have no idea what the times are, but that's what it's here for. Real quick, score update. What are you guys?
Chad's way ahead of me now.
I have a total of 63.
All right. And Cozy has basically 50, a little less than 50. All right. So you could still be, as long as you're within 40 points, I guess we'll do the last one. All right. Cozy, your game that you're going to have to guess, that is a game that Adam likes, is XCOM 2.
XCOM 2.
By the way, just the base game. Not expansion, not anything like that, just the base game of XCOM 2.
Okay.
And I think you still have one
I
little
have
lifeline
spread.
left. Yeah.
Which, remind me what that does again?
I'll basically, like, I'm not going to give you time, but, like, if this many segment, like, the main story is this big, main plus sides is this big, just trying to not to give you, but, like, again, if it was, like...
It's like ratios, how they relate to each other.
If main story and main plus sides are real close and then completionist is, like, super, super long, you'd be like, okay, these two are similar. That one's going to be ridiculous. The idea for that.
Okay, well, let's do that then.
You want to do a spread on it. Okay, let's see. If main plus story, let's just say that it's, a finger length. This is for audio people. The length of your finger is main plus story. Main plus sides is like a finger and a half. And completionist is more than 2 fingers.
Okay.
So 1 segment, 1.5 segment over 2 segments.
Okay. I'm going to say that completing the main story in XCOM 2 is 22 hours.
Okay.
I think that completing main story plus extras is 31 hours. And I think that being a completionist is, I'm going to go with 50 hours.
Okay.
And
User score.
I'm going to say that user score is a solid 90.
So, as part of his main story, it is 33 hours, which I believe gets you 0 points because you're outside of 10. Main plus sides.
I don't think I can get any points.
Oh, no, you can't. Main plus sides is 47 hours, which I don't remember what you said, but it's more than that, more than 10.
That's a long game.
Completionist, 79 hours. So no points for that.
Big
User
game.
score, 84. And I believe you said
Okay.
90, so that's 4 points for you. Which technically, I believe, does put you out of contention. It doesn't matter what Chad does, but just for fun, we're already here. We're going to do Chad's last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I did the last one as a game that I play that you guys don't know, because how would you know? Can't all be easy, now can it? Chad, your game, your final game, just for shits and giggles, for old shits and gigs, is Hades 1.
No, okay. I would also like a spread, please.
Okay, so again, main story we'll say
Wait.
is
Actually. I want to reveal.
you want to reveal?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just give you one of the answers. I will generate random generator 1 through 3. It says 1. So main story for Hades is 23 hours.
Okay. Main story 23. Main
Yep.
plus extras 26. Completionist 34. User score 89.
Okay, so you got the 10 points for the main story. User score, you're 1 off, so you get 9 points. It's a 90.
Oh, user score is a 90? Okay.
Yep. Main plus sides is 48.
Oh!
Completionist is 95 hours.
Hey.
So thank God you used that reveal because it got you some points on the board.
Yeah,
Technically,
I got
you
19
still win.
points out of that, though.
Oh, Lord.
Which
so
brings
what
me
is
up
your...
to 82 is my final score.
And what is Cozy's final score?
Let's see here.
He's at 52.
52. Okay, very good,
I'm
Chad.
good at that game. Let's keep playing that game.
We do. I had a tiebreaker, but I'll save it for next time just in case. That'll be good. But that is my... I love playing this game every day.
P is on the cover of Lies of P.
Excuse me.
What?
It's actually Pinocchio.
No.
No, they don't. He's legally the script Pinocchio. But yeah, that is my segment from Adam. There you go. Congratulations, Chad. You did very good. You should be happy.
Thank you. And now it's time for me to unleash the fury of losing here, because it's time for Game On Game Show, the Game On Game Show where we play a game called Game On, the Game Show, on a game show, game. Alex, take it away.
There we go. Thank you, Chad. Today, we are going to be playing TMI with NPD for the year 2015. We are slowly closing the gap between the past and the present. Before you know it, we'll be up to 2024. And who knows, maybe we might even do it for 2025. Maybe we might even peer to the future and predict what is to come. But for now, we are talking about the NPD list / Circana list for the year 2015.
And this is
the rules.
PS4,
Yes.
Xbox One, Wii U?
Wii U.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we use that now.
And also Vita and 3DS if you want to.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of Vita games on the top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Taco Master, Severed. Come on now.
Severed was fucking great.
Yeah, good game.
Sold 10 copies.
Chad. The Chad lock will still be in play, which means that after the first 2 clues, you can, or rather, I don't even remember what the rules of
After
the
the
Chad
second
lock are.
clue, we can lock
After
it.
the second clue, I can lock it.
Anyway, but if you, I was going to say, if you did Chad lock from the first clue, I wouldn't think twice about it at this
I
point.
would answer anyways and get the points, but yeah, go ahead.
Of course, any sports game that is in the top 10 is out of play, and I'll always adjust the length of the list to kind of accommodate that. So I will always give you 10 proper games to guess. And this year's Call of Duty is out of play as well. On this particular list, there are only 2 sports games in the top 10, which is why we are only going to be going over 12 games.
Okay.
The 12th best-selling game of the year 2015. Sorry, I hold on. For the record, the way that I've done this at this point, I've done this segment so many times at this point that I have a template where basically I plug in the names of each game and my associated clues with each game, and I have it in my template so that at the beginning of each entry, it's always the 12th best-selling game of the year X per the NPD group / Circana is so on and so forth. But then this time around, I forgot to replace X with 2015, which is why I got a little
Mega Man
tripped up there. All right, I'll try to replace it as I go along. The 12th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD group / Circana is FIFA 16. We're not going to be guessing this particular one. As it would happen, the 12th game on the list is a sports game. Its cover athlete, as usual, was Barcelona's Lionel Messi. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different for this one. I want the 2 of you to guess what was the highest rating this game got on Metacritic across the 3 platforms it was on. Those platforms being Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
Is it you have to get it exactly right, or whoever's closest gets a point?
Whoever's closest.
Chad, you go first.
No, you go first.
I'm going to say 78.
I'm going to say 79.
I wasn't even who was going to do that.
Chad gets the point because on Xbox One, the game got an 84.
Oh, yeah, that feels good.
That's why I was going to do the one over too, Chad. You're right on my wavelength.
Yeah. I learned it from watching you, Dad.
All right, let's go on to number 11. The 11th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is the next entry in a franchise that we last saw in 2013. It's a game that received mixed reviews at the time of its release for its subject matter and plot. It is a first-person shooter. And it was one of the last video games to be developed by the San Francisco-based Visceral Games.
Oh, shit. That's not what I thought you were going to say.
You gotta guess, Chad.
Can you read the clues again?
Let's do this one last time. The 11th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is the next entry in a franchise that we last saw in 2013. It's a game that received mixed reviews at the time of its release for its subject matter and plot. It is a first-person shooter, and it was one of the last games to be developed by the San Francisco-based Visceral Games.
Damn it. The only thing I can associate Visceral Games with in my brain right now is Dead Space.
And I will say, this is a game that people tend to forget was developed by Visceral Games. They don't really associate the studio with it, but they did indeed develop it, and it was a much discussed point of contention at the time. I'm afraid that is incorrect. Dead Space Extraction released in 2009 on the Wii, and then later other consoles.
What the fuck did they make? I can't think about anything. I was going to say Dead Space 3, but I know that's incorrect.
No, that was
that
a PS3 360
also
game.
Incorrect.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell their last thing was.
Going once. Going twice. And we're out of time. You might remember that Visceral Games, owned by EA.
Yeah.
What's a first-person shooter franchise that EA develops?
Oh, I know what it is now.
Battlefield
Hardline.
Ooh, Hardline. I forgot that they made Hardline.
Yeah. I actually, we had a friend of the podcast come on Press YZ who had been working at Visceral Games that helped develop Battlefield Hardline back in the day. He actually went on to develop an indie game called Airborne Kingdom, which is really solid. Go check it out.
Cool.
All right. Number 10. The 10th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is an action-adventure game. It features a dead character that's voiced by a prominent Star Wars actor. It was criticized at the time of its release for its implementation of a certain vehicle.
Batman Arkham Knight.
That is correct.
Fuck yeah. Wait, who's the dead Star Wars person? Oh, wait. What?
Mark Hamill as
He's
the Joker.
Oh, because Joker was dead in it. Got it. Okay. Got it. That's all snapping in my brain.
Spoilers.
Okay.
Why did I go to... This is an older game. What is the game where you play as the gods, the Four Horsemen? Mark Hamill's in the first one. What is the name of those games?
What's it?
Darksiders.
I played it.
Darksiders. Yes, is this Darksiders? Like, no, that was earlier. I can't think of that. That's not it.
Yeah, good game.
Also, you think Darksiders would be in the top 10?
Maybe the first one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, those games were. They had their fans back in the day. All right, number 9, the 9th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is widely regarded as a disappointment by its fan base.
Could be anything.
Yeah, right.
Features 2 playable characters. The first of which shares the same namesake as a character from Lost.
Halo 5.
Halo 5 Guardians is correct.
John Locke, baby.
I gotta say, Chad, you said you were going to lose again. You are doing plenty fine.
Well, it's because we're not getting into the Call of Duties, the sports games.
Yeah, it's the only games that I know. I don't know anything about Batman.
And the Battlefield, which Adam gets every time, is one that we both missed. So yeah, I'm doing okay now.
All right. Number 8. The 8th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is a returning game from last year's list. It was developed by a studio that's currently owned by Sony. It is
Destiny.
That is correct.
Yeah. Very good.
Oof. It seems like Chad is closing in on victory here, Adam. You're
he's
going
got
to
me.
start.
What do I got?
You're
I
gonna
got
have to
4
start making
points?
some moves.
Yeah, you got
4
4.
points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you got, Adam?
0.
How do you say that in Spanish?
Sequenta.
Number 7. The 7th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is a sequel to a game that released in 2011. It's the latest entry in a series renowned for having surprisingly good single-player campaigns for its particular genre.
Titanfall 2.
That is incorrect.
Ooh, good guess, though.
The genre in question is fighting games. And it is the 10th
Mortal
mainline
Kombat X.
entry. That is
Shit.
correct.
Yeah.
Adam's got points on the board.
There we go. I'm not getting swept, baby.
The 6th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is NBA 2K16, one of the 2 sports games on this list. There were 3 different cover athletes for this particular game. One featuring Anthony Davis of the New Orleans Pelicans, another featuring Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors, and the last featuring James Harden of the Houston Rockets.
Stephen Curry.
That is, and I want to say
Steph
for the
Curry,
record,
Alex. I even know that.
It's Stephen Curry.
I did that intentionally because I literally went like down a Wikipedia rabbit hole of like the the cover athlete stuff, and apparently in every single legitimate piece of documentation online, it's Stephen Curry, and I'm like, fuck it, Stephen Curry.
That's funny.
This is what you get on this podcast. This is what you deserve.
Stephen Curry.
Speaking of what you deserve, we're going to do some Metacritic predictions this time around once again.
Ooh, okay.
Chad, you are going to guess first, and then Adam, you will guess second. Can you tell me what is the highest score this game got on Metacritic on the highest console on which it was rated?
The last game we just did this for was also a 2K game, right?
No, it was an EA game.
What was?
Correct.
Oh, it was FIFA. That's right.
Correct.
I thought it was like last year's 2K. We're gonna say 82.
83.
Adam is correct. The highest rating it got was an 87 on PS4.
Chad put me in a tough spot because I'm like, it's going to be like low to maybe mid 80s, maybe. So I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I go over or under on this one. So there you go.
I was a little surprised looking up some of these Metacritic scores. Like, I feel like we tend to associate these games with being, oh, it's just same game over and over again with a coat of paint. But like, these are respectable scores.
It's almost like games that sell super well every year, people seem to like for some reason. Maybe that's why they keep buying them.
Number 5.
And why do people keep buying Minecraft? That game fucking sucks.
The 5th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is Madden NFL 16, another sports game.
Okay.
The cover athlete was Stephen Curry. No, it was the New York Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Because Adam is still trailing behind Chad, he is once again going to get to guess second. So can you tell me what was the highest rating this game got across PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on Metacritic?
86.
Chad. Okay.
I'm going to say, so it's just whoever's closest, right? 85.
Once again, Adam is closer. He got an 84 on Xbox One.
Butthole
Man,
sex.
really close, really close.
All right,
Catching
here we
up,
go.
Chad.
Yeah,
Wait, what are the
catching up.
scores now?
Can't-
What do I got?
3 to
what do you
4.
got?
I was going
You
to
have
say
3, I have 4? Okay.
yeah.
How many questions are left?
There are 3 plus the Call of Duty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's on the cover
All
of Call
right.
of Duty?
Stephen Curry.
Number 4, the 4th best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is a licensed game. It's a game that was criticized at the time of its release for not featuring a single-player campaign.
Star Wars Battlefront.
That is correct.
Oh, shit.
All right, we're tied up. Here we go. It's anyone's game. Number 3. The third best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana
GTA 5.
is... Yep, that's correct. Congratulations, Chad.
Wow.
All right. Well,
I know as we
means
get up there, I'm
Chad
going to start doing the Madden
slightly
NFL
pulled ahead.
trick.
Number 2. The second best-selling game of the year 2015 per the NPD Group / Circana is a role-playing game. It's a game
Witcher 3.
that is incorrect.
Ooh.
Okay.
It is a game that's looked back on fondly for having a very short announcement to release time.
Oh,
Fallout
Fallout
4.
4.
That is correct. It is indeed Fallout 4.
Who got it, though?
Yeah. Who got
I
that?
believe it was Adam. Who
Oh,
spoke
you're
first.
fucking kidding me.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
my
We all heard
God.
it.
Oh, my God.
We're on a new system. You can't blame lag
No,
on it.
I have the stream. I have
I literally said
the source of truth on my computer.
it's 2-1. It's 2-1.
All right, release the waveforms to the public, and the public will determine who got that one right or wrong. Last one, the number 1 best-selling game of the year 2015 per the MT Group / Circana is this year's Call of Duty. Can you guess which one it was?
Advanced Warfare.
Blops.
That
3.
is incorrect. That is correct. Chad wins.
Oh, there you go,
Despite
Chad.
bitching and complaining, he still
Boom.
took home the gold.
When is Advanced Warfare? I'm like, when is this Kevin Spacey
Wasn't
game?
that
I
last
know
year's?
it.
I feel like that was the last year
I don't
one.
know. I don't know.
No, last year's was Ghosts because that was like the transition year.
Yeah.
No, because
So
Ghost
Advanced
has been
Warfare.
an answer for this twice. Because I
Yeah,
think
it's
it was
gone
on one, and then
twice.
it was like this also sold a lot the next year. Because I've said Ghost twice,
Yeah.
or maybe I got it wrong the second time I said it. I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
you know what? You're right. 2014 was Advanced Warfare because on this list it was
Oh,
in
Modern
the
Warfare
number
2 is
13
the one
spot.
before that one. Then yeah, I have no
Yeah.
idea where Advanced Warfare is.
Yeah, going over some of the other highlights from this list at the number 14 slot, an early year success that a lot of people were very surprised by. Dying Light, the zombie game.
Oh shit, that's
Yeah.
right.
Good game.
Yeah. At number 16, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. It's interesting because, the Metal Gear Solid games, they were games that sold exceptionally well. And I do wonder, is it selling at, number 16 on this list, kind of appropriate for the series? Or is it also, people being kind of upset because of the rift between Kojima and Konami and this game, kind of having a bit of a disappointing story campaign? There's certainly a lot that was going on with that game. Number 18, not a game I ever expected to show up here, but here we are. Dragon Ball. I want you guys to take a guess. Which Dragon Ball game is this?
It's a Budokai
Number 18
game.
on the list.
I don't know which one.
Chad, you got any guesses?
Oh, Chad is frozen on my screen, by the way.
Uh-oh. Chad, can we hear you?
Oh, but he's not
I don't
frozen
know
on
what's
Twitch,
going
though.
on, but I have
Yeah, I was going to
lost
say,
you all.
Twitch chat's still going fine.
Interesting.
And I also
Well,
can't see
Chad,
myself
I don't
in
know
here.
what you're
Hold on.
saying. I see your mouth moving. What I got for you, buddy? Oh, there he is.
Chad, did he accidentally hit the... Chad, are you there?
I don't know. We're still here recording. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, just
Oh, he's
peachy.
back.
There he is. There he is.
Chad, can you hear us? We can't hear you, though. We
Yeah,
can
hold
see
on.
you now.
It's
Are
got
we,
to hook up his...
Yeah,
you want to hear me
there
now?
we go.
Mhm.
There we go. All right, Chad. What Dragon Ball game was number 18 on the list?
I can't. I can't tell what's going on. All right, I'm going to wrap up the podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
I'm just going to say...
Remember, this is
hold on. I'll
this
just...
is
Let me...
Harry's Funny Fire.
Chad,
You have
no.
homework. Go play
Chad, no.
for Barf Kerbal Space
Chad, give it
Program. That's our Barf game. Go to patreon.com/RespawnNameFire. That's where you can go and you can vote on stuff.
Chad,
You can
I'm
also
telling
get
you to
early access
stop in the
to
chat.
our special game episodes. Yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. I hope the last 2 minutes of this thing went. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
The final games for Dragon Ball Xenoverse at number 18, Lego Jurassic Park at number 19, which I thought was interesting, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt at number 20.
At 20.
If they can hear us at this point. I don't think they can.
Well, but no, the audio can hear us, so we're here for you.
Oh,
Chad has to just leave it in
Yeah,
at the
we
end.
just have to hope they leaves it in at the end.
Thank you, Alex.
Oh, you're welcome.
Goodbye.